Hi everyone, welcome to DigiPrits and a 7-day long road trip with my family to Kerala. We started our journey on a Sunday afternoon from Bangalore, just sky gazing and watching the clouds, and then also the sunset as we moved from day to night. Our first stop was at Wayanad, and we stayed at this cute cottage amidst all this greenery. We reached late in the night and just crashed immediately after and woke up to explore Wayanad. This cottage was very beautiful and it had an extension to it as well, so we explored that for a bit and took some pictures and then left. We then checked out and left, and what a magnificent day and weather. Just looking around you and driving through this greenery is pure bliss. We had breakfast and then drove towards our first tourist attraction here, which is the Kandi. It has the glass bridge, swing, and some fun activities, plus the view from there is supposedly the best. To get there, you will have to hire a jeep, which you will find at the entrance itself. It was my first time off-roading in a jeep for such a long distance. This in itself is an experience altogether, and I was so scared I would tumble and fall out into the muddy road, so I gripped myself to the seat even though I am smiling at the camera here. This is the glass bridge. Get here early so that there is not a lot of crowd and you get time for yourself to experience this. The view from up here is just spectacular, and you can spend up to 5 to 10 minutes if there is no one else waiting out there. The pictures and videos, of course, don't do justice for what beholds the beauty of nature from up here, but you have to come here to experience this. Next up is this swing. The ticket for this was just $50, but it looks scary as hell because you're literally at the edge and you're just one rod away from the safety of your life. But, the feeling and the music the person plays here just fills up your heart with a gazillion different butterflies and electrocuted with immense amount of adrenaline rush when you reach the top. This could also double up as your Sasti Bali swing, so if you want to, bring your long cape dress and take some splendid pictures here. After this, there is a small treehouse-like structure on the top which you can climb up from the stairs, and the view from up here is just sublime and it's a complete treat to your eyes. You will be visually appealed by this heavenliness on top. Then near the ticket counter, you have this really fun rope course, the ones that look like a child's version of Takeshi's castle. It was challenging yet very fun because you're determined to get through the whole course without falling down, which is of course stage 1. Stage 2 is where you try to fasten up and see how much time you take to complete the whole course. I look like an orangutan child just taking its own sweet time to make its way to the other end, but boy oh boy, this was fun for someone who's just always playing games on their phone or just goes to office and then comes back. Now, it is at this stage you feel you can screw up because you need utmost balance or you could just fall apart. Look at the struggle. This is why I keep reminding myself that I need to hit the gym more often than not so I can continue to stay active through my lifestyle. Now let's just quickly fast forward on this, shall we? Did the whole obstacle course again but faster. We again jumped back in the jeep to head back down to our car, and you can see my mom gripping onto the handle. No matter who enjoyed this or not, my sister definitely enjoyed this experience. Next up, we drove to the Soochipara Falls. I can't fathom to explain the painful journey of walking miles and miles to just get to this place, and the waterfalls is not even that much in abundance or thick. That's when I was told the name itself is very indicative. Suchi means needle and para means rock, and clearly the waterfalls is also as much as a Suchi. We are now at the Lakkidi viewpoint on the Wayanad Pass, which is famous for its mesmerizing scenery. You get to see a bird's eye view of the magnificent surroundings. This place actually leaves you in search of words to describe this panoramic vista that your eyes behold. It's also known as the Gateway of Wayanad. This is the 14-kilometer long Wayanad Pass, which is the junction that connects Wayanad to Kozhikode. It is a passage straight out of legends consisting of steep turns and bends, along with some of the most picturesque visuals in all of Kerala. Next up, we made our way to enjoy a zip lining experience. Of course, with full safety gear, they let go and off I shifted through the middle of nowhere, flying with my hands out high and my wings clipped with safety. There were two levels to this, so we could experience the view and the feeling of this thrill from an even greater height. We went to the Tusharagiri Adventure Tandem Zipline team, and the experience from their end has been so great. You can literally see me come back with utter joy and happiness. I would highly recommend you to come experience this if you visit Calicut or Wayanad, and a big shout out to this team for ensuring we had the best experience for our first ever zipline. Our second stop was at Munnar. We checked out of our hotel and started our journey to drive down there. We are planning to stay here for 2 days and explore the whole town. Munnar is a very famous hill station in South India. It is situated at the sangam of three mountain streams, Mutirapula, Nallatanni and Kundala. And the word Munnar means three rivers in Malayalam. On our way into the town, our first tourist stop was at the Soochipara Falls. It is a small one, but we saw so many people gathering there, so like everyone else, we stopped for a couple of pictures. From there up front, a little while ahead, is the Vallara Falls. We just decided to take some pictures from up ahead and left. We then headed close to the city center to stop by for some local cuisines and to also check into our hotel at Munnar. All through the drive, I entertained everyone with some really fun music. Clearly, you can see my mom enjoying that too, pun intended. We then stopped by at this viewpoint surrounded with tea estates all around us and this beautiful road that cuts right in the center. Now this is a sight to behold. Seize this moment and safeguard this in your memory, I told myself. My mom always wanted to be here and we had this trip all planned out in 2021, but COVID had other plans for us. But here we are together making memories. I then took some more pictures and videos so I could keep them as a memory and to also post them on Instagram. If you're not already following me, I will leave the handle on the screen for you now. Munnar is such a beautiful place in Kerala which cannot be portrayed in a single canvas. Everything and anything here will make you excited. The hills, the mist, the valleys, the streams, the waterfalls, tea plantations, their rare flora and fauna, everything. Like Nicholas Sparks once said, there are winds of destiny that blow when we least expect them. Sometimes they gust with the fury of a hurricane. Sometimes they barely fan one's cheek. But the winds cannot be denied, bringing, as they often do, a future that is impossible to ignore. Okay, wow, that was deep. But let's jump back into the trip while we make our way to another top viewpoint. It was pretty cloudy and gloomy this day, but thankfully it didn't rain. I'll let you listen to nature now. Of course, I took some more pictures and called it a day, and we decided to head back down into the town to rest it out. The misty hills of Munnar have a different story to tell with every season. Owing to its lovely atmosphere, it remains a perfect destination for anyone who visits Kerala. The tea estates, stunning waterfalls, and adventures draw the interest of people from across the globe. A simple walk amidst the lush green trees in Munnar is more than enough to induce utmost peace in you. Hi, it's me again trying to do the most cringe thing ever, which is opening up the blinds and showing you the view and acting all cool even after doing the same thing 2 to 3 times. We then rested for a while, had some dinner, and then called it a night. Welcome to day 3 of our road trip and a very bright and good morning. We are here in Munnar to continue and explore places. Our first touristy spot for today is the Rose Garden. This is such a beautiful place, like you have to come here at all costs. Although the garden is known as Rose Garden, you can find a variety of other plants and trees. You will find vanilla, cardamom, and it is also home to many spices and fruit trees such as lychee, strawberry, rambutan, and amla. An equally important variety of flowering plants can be found here. Seasonal tropical fruits are grown all year round, and there are fresh vegetables and fruits like cabbage, potato, cauliflower, bananas, name it, and you'll find their plantations there. You can also buy flowering plant seeds from here to cultivate them as memories of this charming place. Here is a 360-degree unnecessary rotation that nobody asked for, but this is for me. We then left from there and decided to go to the Mattupetty Reservoir for some speedboating. Here's me trying to look all cool and hip. This is something we won't find in the cities we live in. Just going past this lush greenery is a humble reminder to life on the other side. We then booked ourselves a speedboat and took a quick spun in this place. The water in here is pretty darn green, I must say. It was a complete joyous ride, but my mom was a bit petrified, and you can see her hair flying in the opposite direction, and we're all laughing about it. But just look at this view, right? I don't know if I've ever enjoyed editing a vlog so much, such as this one. Just the pristine memories of these moments are going to be etched in my life for sure, and the fact that I've captured it through videography is an added bonus. These pictures just melt my heart. Next up, we are on our way to Echo Point Munnar, which is one of the must-see attractions. This place is fascinating and unique because of the natural echo phenomenon, that is, when you shout something, you will be able to hear a far-out echo of what you just said. We're here at the Echo Point now, and we did do a test by shouting out our parents' names, and we indeed did hear it back. Proceed with caution for the next audio clip. Durga! I am just enjoying the fresh breeze out here as we are now on our way to the Mattupetty Dam. It was the first concrete storage gravity dam to be installed in Kerala. It was installed to prevent floods, conserve water, and generate power in the 1940s. Nowadays, it's a popular tourist spot for those visiting Munnar. Here you can walk over the dam to get spectacular views of the reservoir. Next up, we are going to the top station, which is 32 kilometers away from Munnar. This place falls on the Kerala-Tamil Nadu border. Here you can enjoy the panoramic view of Western Ghats and the valley of Theni district of Tamil Nadu. Top station got its name from the fact that it was the uppermost railway station located in the Kundala Valley. The view from up here was so heavenly. It's like you're amidst mystical clouds and mountains straight out of a fairy tale, and you may feel that the clouds are just a hand touch away from you. And the drive up and down from this place was something magical altogether. Look at the view from up this tea estate. We then headed out from Munnar towards our next destination and of course watched the sunset. The color of the sky was purple with hues of red in it, and it's something that I've never seen before, so it's truly splendid to be able to experience this. We have now reached Varkala sometime around lunchtime, of course after an overnight's rest. Our first stop was at the Kappil Beach. Honestly, we could not even get past these rocky stones to experience the other side of this beach, especially with mom. We didn't want to take that risk or walk too far. But then it was a pretty breezy day out here, so here is another 360-degree tour. We then made our way to the Black Sand Beach. It's right next to the North Cliff. The beach stretch is short, but hardly anyone visits, I guess. The unique feature of the beach is, as the name suggests, the black colored sand. But it's not like completely black sand, but just a few hints of it here and there. The beach is perfect for swimming and sunbathing. The serene ambience of the calm location makes it an ideal spot to chill. After this, we walked up to make our way to the Varkala cliffside cafeterias and some shopping spots. You will find a lot of beach facing resorts here, but they're quite expensive given its proximity to this tourist spot. Here is a bird eye view of the beach and the cafes from up here and the slanting coconut trees. Varkala is uprearing the popularity ladder like crazy, and it's become a thriving place in the last couple of years, I must say. There are a lot of cafeterias and shops as we walk down on the side of the cliff section. The walk takes about like 15 to 20 minutes roughly, but could easily take you an hour or so if you browse through the shops and stop for some food as well. We are now back at our homestay for tonight. We are at the Aloha homestay and it has just been newly opened. It was my mom's personal recommendation that I include this room tour because she thoroughly enjoyed how beautiful it was. They had this really nice, cozy outdoor space for people to sit down and talk, which is in front of each and every room. There are 2 floors here and plenty of rooms available, and it's very close to the main tourist attractions. We then left for Trivandrum because my mom was very keen to visit the Padmanabhaswamy Temple. Mobile phones were not allowed inside, and I pretty much was lost through the day, so I didn't record much on this particular time. There is a specific attire required to visit the temple, so that's why you will see us wearing a mundu in this picture. We then did some amount of shopping, checked out, and left to go to Kochi. We are now here at our last destination. We started our day with the first tourist attraction being the Mattancherry Palace. Cameras were not allowed inside, so I couldn't film, but outside the palace there were cute little pigeons that I was trying to run after, like some typical Bollywood song sequence. We took a couple of pictures and then left from there. We then made our way to Fort Kochi. Fort Cochin is a charming historic area on the western end of Cochin, known for its blend of local and colonial like Portuguese, Dutch and British architecture. Here you will find most of Cochin's interesting attractions like St. Francis Church, the Santa Cruz Basilica and the Mattancherry Palace. There are a ton of handicraft shops here if you're someone who's interested in them. They really brighten up the street with its vivid colors and variety altogether. Once you set foot into Fort Cochin, you will be instantly transported to a different time period. Its roots and essence are unique in its diversity itself. We are now here at Jewtown, a narrow street between Mattancherry Palace and the synagogue. It is a favorite spot for antique hunters. Some of the most pristine and historically relevant artifacts of our times are kept here. But honestly, I found the shopping here to be a bit expensive, and it must be because it's in one of the prime locations of Kochi as well, right? The architecture here has such a great influence from the West, and you can see that in the colors and structures of these buildings in itself. There are a ton of cafes and eateries around here, and it reminded me of the times we were in Pondicherry. So it's a perfect place for you to rest up after all of the walking around Fort Kochi and also the immense heat from the hot weather here. We are now here at the Santa Cruz Cathedral Basilica. The church, which is over 500 years old, has an eventful past before the arrival of the Portuguese in 1500. It was given by the then King of Cochin as a token of gratitude for his help in defeating the Zamorans of Calicut. The interior of the church has Gothic style of architecture with massive arches and an awe-inspiring altar. We are now on our way to get closer to the Cochin port and go to Marine Drive. It was formed due to the natural flooding of the Periyar River, and over time it has become a major flashpoint for trade. We then went on a ferry ride at Marine Drive to check out the backwaters and also check out the scenic beauty around us. The ferry is owned by a local, and the ride lasted for about 30 to 40 minutes, and he told us about all the important locations in and around there. You will not believe it, but we actually saw dolphins here, and it was my first time ever, and it was honestly so cool when it galloped closer to the ferry as we went far out towards the backwaters. It was definitely a rare sight, but it was so beautiful to see it. This was definitely a perfect closure to our trip, just sitting out here in leisure and enjoying the ride. If you have stayed until the end and watched the video so far, then leave a comment below on your favorite place in Kerala and let's talk. Until then, see you next time. Bye.